podcasts. I have an issue with red pill in general. I'm a Christian first before anything. So my opening statement is really the red pill podcasts, such as the Whatever podcast, which is the one in question today, are exploitative and destructive in nature. They advertise porn stars and promiscuous women as the thumbnails to every upload and plug their social media accounts in the bio of every video. The women don't go on the show to debate. They go on there for attention and clout. The show is masqueraded as a debate, but in reality, it's an OnlyFans ad agency. I'll concede that, yeah, there's some utility in going on these shows to combat these feminist ideologies. However, that utility is immediately lost when you advertise the very thing that you claim to be against. The equivalent would be as though a podcast that claimed to be anti-drugs brought drug dealers onto the show, put the picture of the product, the drug, as the thumbnail to every episode, and plug the drug dealer's address in the bio of every video so all the people watching know where to go and buy the product. My argument is we should combat the modernity of feminist ideologies without advertising their product, which in this case is their body. Young men should instead turn to Christ and stay away from engaging with red pill podcasts and red pill ideologies. The real solution and simple call to action is for men as a collective to turn away from porn, cease engaging with thirst trap content online, cease engaging in hookup culture, turn to God, and date with the intention of marriage. And this is not a surprise from the Christian worldview, which I believe that we share. The red pill podcasts in this business for the same reason for the women that they bring on: attention and money. As a Christian, the only reason we should go on the show is to hold the red pill hosts accountable for the degeneracy that they are engaging in by profiting off of being an OF ad agency by exploiting the pain of their male audience. Red pill podcasts have taken a number of traditional biblical principles and twisted them for their selfish desire to guide men into a life of worshiping money and sex.
All right, Andrew, do you want to go ahead and use your opener?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for the opening statement. Glad I got your kind of positions down here. So let me respond. I didn't know for sure what my opponent's criticisms were going to be just yet. I have ascertained a bit of information via DMs, so let me go over his arguments as I understand them. One, his first argument seemed to be to point to the fact that going on whatever was problematic, as everything that has needed to be said has been said. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know what that means. I find this argument amusing, though, as if you can't go to this guy's Instagram like he's saying something that's super new that other larger content creators than himself have already said they have. So I'll assume he's just confused about that argument, too. His second argument points out that girls engaged in sex work can and do gain some of the whatever audience to then subscribe to their sex channels. I don't dispute that this is true. I just don't particularly care. The types of men who are watching whatever and would subscribe to OnlyFans prostitution were likely already subscribed to OnlyFans prostitution. It seems reasonable to me that if invited on to provide pushback to their various claims, that is more effective than pretending that whatever is cranking out simps. Brian seems to mostly be against the modernity of dating and prostitution, though he doesn't have as hard a line of a stance as I do, but he allows pushback for everybody, including the guests which are on his show. His third argument makes no sense to me at all. My opponent seems to think that ignoring this problem makes it go away, but it doesn't make it go away. Pushback and resistance make it go away. I think it's important we be present in all places the degens are to take on their worldviews. His final argument is that I need to attack or go after Brian, though that doesn't make any sense either. Why would I destroy my opportunity to engage on the platform where I can reach hundreds of thousands of people with a better message? Not to mention, Brian brings up valid and interesting arguments, which I often agree with. We may not align 100%, but we don't need to, as reaching the audience is my objective, not reaching fucking Brian. He starts his claims as well by saying he's against feminist ideology, but I did go and review a debate that he had with Destiny where he claimed that feminism is an antidote to what he considers toxic patriarchy. I'm not sure that that's in line with any Christian worldview that I'm aware of, but I'm happy to take that topic on as well. Lastly, the only reason to go on the show is to go after the host he claims. That seems stupid to me. I think it would be far better to utilize the platform of the host in order to move a message to hundreds of thousands of people who you would not normally have access to. That's a far wiser strategy for spreading the message. And I'm assuming that we agree on a lot of this message, and so what we have is a differing of tactics. However, it's insane to me that he also wanted to go on the Whatever podcast himself, which is odd, I would assume, because he wants hundreds of thousands of people to hear his message as well. So with that, I'll yield the rest of my time, and I'm happy to get into this.
All right, RC. Would you like to respond?
Well, we're just gonna go open from here. Yep, open dialogue from here. Go ahead, RC.
So to address, you brought up a number of points. To address your last point, I didn't shy away from the fact that I said, as a Christian, you can go on the podcast to call out what Red Pill is doing wrong. Yes, I did ask to go onto the Whatever podcast.
But what about the things that they're doing right? Can you agree with the things that they're doing right while simultaneously calling out the things that are wrong?
So, well, I'm addressing what you'd said, right? So in May of 2023, I did ask the Whatever podcast, and I DM'd Brian privately asking if I can go on the show so I can call out Red Pill. I was very clear with why my intention is to go onto the show. Mm-hmm. And Brian went on to block me because he said, I'm afraid to bring you on because you're going to speak disparagingly to the women, as though he doesn't do that with every episode, and every male guest he has on does the same thing. And he blocked me, which is very telling, because what are you afraid of?
Well, now hang on. Let's get into this first. So that's a Reader's Digest version, but my understanding from having read the DMs that you posted in the Discord was that you were being very agitating towards Brian. And if I was running a show and you were being agitating towards me while you were trying to come on my show, what do you think my reaction would be?
How am I agitating towards Brian when I said, I want to go on your show to call out Red Pill? If that's agitating to him, then that's very telling what his position is.
But what he said is that he wanted to have a more calm, collected conversation, and he was worried that your over-the-top approach would not be good for his platform. Now, it is his platform. We can agree that it's his platform, whether you like how it's run or not. It seems silly to me that you would be agitating towards this guy and then expect that he would have you on.
Right. So would you agree that this Red Pill podcast is advertising these OnlyFans women?
I don't think that they're specifically advertising them, but I think that they allow the OnlyFans women to advertise themselves, yes.
They're putting them they're using their sexually suggestive photos as the thumbnail to every video they put up. How is that not direct advertising?
Yeah, so that's how the women show up.
They ask and they use provocative images of those women. They don't have to use those images as the thumbnail to their video.
So what? That's what these women themselves, what they're showing. The best disinfectant is sunlight. So adding sunlight to what these women are, I think, is the best things you can possibly do, which would include
show their sexually suggestive content.
Would include these disgusting poses. Well, here's the thing: they go on the show looking like this. So why would the thumbnail somehow be worse than how they show up to the show?
Because you don't have to put that as a thumbnail. It's an intentional clickbait.
Yeah, you don't have to let them show up like that to the show, but they want to show up like that to the show. And the reason that they do is because they want to be as provocative as possible for attention. But I think that that's in many ways good for our side, because it shows a ray of sunlight on what's going on here, that women will dress this way in order to go into a live studio in order to promote this type of degeneracy. Again, I think the best disinfectant is sunlight.
But you don't promote them by advertising the picture as the thumbnail. You don't have to do that, and they intentionally do it to clickbait.
Well, let us assume for a moment that I just concede the point, and I say, you're right. They really shouldn't use the sexually provocative thumbnail. So what? It's not our platform. It's not your platform. It's not my platform. Our job is to provide necessary pushback to ideological worldviews that we disagree with. You would agree that that's true. If you're saying that this guy is running this as a business and making money, I don't disagree that he is doing so. And I don't disagree that people love controversy, and I don't disagree that part of that controversy can make people money. What I do disagree with is that whether or not this guy is advertising this from a thumbnail perspective, okay, in order to be as provocative as possible to get the most amount of views as possible, that also puts the most amount of views on my message.
So you also in the DMs mentioned that, sure, it's okay that he plugs their social media accounts in the bio of the video because that's the price to admission.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. This is what they're asking him to do. If he's willing to link a Christian nationalist bio down there, right, which is just as polarizing as an OnlyFans girl, why should he then not link hers as well? Just because you fucking disagree, right? Because you just disagree with that side of it. But that side of it hates our asses. They fucking hate us. So he's willing to put our bios in there too.
So he's against Christian nationalism? Or is he against the OnlyFans degenerate feminist ideologies?
Well, I'm not sure what his exact ideology is on this. It seems to be that there's a mixture.
He claims to be Christian.
Well, he doesn't really. He claims that he's not a practicing Christian.
Well, he's claimed to, well, then he does flip-flop a lot, but he has openly admitted that he said he's Christian. But regardless, he's very clearly advertising them. They come on to be advertised. They wouldn't go on if
I go on to be advertised. What's your point?
Yeah, we all do things for attention. What type of attention are you looking for?
Yeah,
when you
I'm
go
looking
on? What type of attention are they looking for?
I understand that they're looking for the same kind of counter attention to what I'm looking for. I want to draw attention to my message, and they're trying to draw attention to their OnlyFans. It would actually be a far harder pitch for him to sell that he's only going to link the people in the bio who he agrees with. I don't agree with you, and I'm still going to link you in the bio. Is that okay?
But the problem is his whole show is against their promiscuous ideology, and he's advertising it. Figuratively speaking.
He's also advertising my ideology.
But you're not porn starring yourself.
Yeah. So what you're really saying is that it's okay for him to do the thing that you agree with ideologically, not okay for him to do the thing that you don't agree with ideologically. Ideologically, it's okay for him to promote me. It's just not okay for him to promote the other side. In the spirit of fairness, you would, if you have a contentious channel like this where people are in consistent arguments and you have polarizing personalities, it seems completely reasonable to me that the people who go on in order to do that show would want whatever it is that they want advertised. While I agree it's disgusting, right, I think that engaging with their ideology is still extremely important.
But that's the whole point, is engaging with their ideology. So he is promoting them by allowing them on the platform to debate, but they don't go on there to debate.
He would be promoting
they only go on to advertise their social media.
No, they do go on to debate, and I've had many engagements and debates with them.
At the end of the day, they don't care if they win or lose. They care to promote and advertise their sexual content.
It could be possible that their alternative motivation is that they don't give a shit how they do inside of these different debates. I can even concede that that's true, and it just doesn't hurt my position because it still exposes this rotten ideology, and I get hundreds upon hundreds of DMs from the whatever audience themselves, personally from them. I saw you on whatever. You've completely brought me out of this darkness, or I saw you on whatever. Thank you so much for having any kind of ideological pushback to this. Even if Brian himself was guilty of doing all the things that you claim he's guilty of doing, you would still want to have a person like me there to ideologically push back against their worldview.
And what are you saying any different than every other person that's gone on to contend them?
What are you saying any different than everything else which is on your Instagram than other creators who have said the exact same fucking thing?
Do I plug their social media?
Yeah, but the argument is still the same. You're claiming here, this is argument 2 that you made. What are you saying any different than other people who've been on there? Well, clearly I must be saying a lot that's different because it's the first time many people have ever heard the message at all. And the DMs would seem to prove that that's true. 2, there's also a delivery system. And a delivery system is important. And perhaps my delivery system is so polarizing that it draws attention to the message. So just because I may say things that other people have said before me on that broadcast, it doesn't mean that they resonate with people.
All right. So you do debate red pill guys on your own platform, do you not?
And on whatever, correct.
But you do hold those guys accountable on your own platform.
Yeah, I engage with their ideology on this platform. That's correct.
So
And I also put, hang on, I
of-
also put their links in the description. Am I doing something wrong?
but they're not promoting.
Oh
sexually
no, they
explicit
are.
content.
Oh yes, they are. I've had
They have
DGens.
OnlyFans
I've
links?
had fucking DGens on this platform, right? Who not only have participated in pornography themselves and have talked
Why
about
would
it
you promote that?
and have talked about it openly. Okay, because I want to engage with their ideology. It's
But
fucking
you're a
important.
Christian. You're a Christian. Why would you advertise pornography?
You're not
as-
listen, so that you understand. If somebody goes down and they watch this entire debate and they click the link because they want to go watch this guy's pornography, they were going to go watch pornography anyway. They were going to be doing that shit anyway. Nobody's ever going to come to one of these debates and go, wow, well, this red pill guy or this prostitute made such a great point. I just can't help but go now and watch their pornography. That's insanity. They were already fucking degens to begin with, right? You're just upset at the way in which it's filtered. They're still going to go find that stuff if they want to find it.
No, you just don't engage with it. You do not continue to go on there and promote their social media accounts. You don't. You stop short of that because you should be a Christian first.
Yeah, that's right. I should stop the message to hundreds of thousands of people because your comfortability at the fact that people request that their links when they go on to have their ideology confronted be linked out for them. That seems stupid to me. When you did a debate with Destiny put your link down in the bio. Did you call Destiny and chastise him for putting your link in the bio, even though he promoted something he clearly didn't agree with?
How is that at all the same thing when you
Answer
comment
my
something-
question. Did you
What is the debate with
answer
Destiny?
my question? Did you call Destiny and ask him to remove your bio from him promoting it? He's a fucking degen. He was in an open marriage. He's done horrible fucking things. Why would you allow your name to be posted on that channel? Why?
Why don't you show where he plugged me?
He put your links down. This is in the Destiny clips. Yeah, he put your link in the bio, and not only that, you announced what your name was live on the broadcast. That is a form of promotion, and you promoted yourself on a degenerate's channel. Well, how dare you? What sort of Christian psychopath are you?
So he promoted my link, which I was unaware of. Did not go on the show to have my link promoted. It's not the reason I went onto the show. These OnlyFans girls go on the show.
Now, what did you go on the show for?
To stand for truth.
That's right. You went on the DGens platform in order to stand for truth, and clearly you thought it was worth it to do so. So what the fuck could your criticism of me possibly be when you did the exact same thing?
No, because you're going on a show that's literally an open OnlyFans ad agency.
So is Destiny. Destiny is one of the biggest promoters of sex work that I've ever seen in my life. He thinks it's absolutely fine. Well, and you were all over that platform, and you didn't give a fuck.
And I debated against it, but he's
That's right, the same shit that I do. You debated against it just like me.
He's not an OnlyFans girl, and he doesn't have a plethora of...
The guy, no, it's worse. It's worse. He's done, literally, this guy has had sex with tons of women who have OnlyFans profiles. He's had sex with tons of sex workers by his own admission. He was in an open marriage with his own wife. I think that the prostitutes on OnlyFans are probably better.
Yeah, but in the example you're trying to bring up in this gotcha, I debated against the host. You agree with the host of the whatever podcast.
I debate with the host too. The last episode, I just debated with him on his worldview of marriage, literally on his podcast.
Have you ever live on the podcast asked him, if you're against these OnlyFans women, why do you plug their social media accounts?
No, I don't need to ask him an obvious question. I know what the answer is. Why would I ask him something I know the answer to? It's the same reason. It's the same reason you went on Destiny's program. The reason, because I'm giving you a parallel example where you yourself will go on Degenerate's platform in order to debate their ideology. I do the exact same thing.
To stand against him. I'm not standing.
And what do you think I'm doing? What do you think I'm doing? I'm standing against their ideology across the board, regardless of alignment. How am I in alignment?
When you go on there, the majority of the time you're debating against the women or you're debating against Brian.
And how would that be alignment?
Because you're bringing up Destiny, and the entire time I debated against Destiny.
So what? The entire time I debate against any points which are made that I disagree with, regardless of who they're from. Doesn't matter if they're from Brian. It doesn't matter if they're from the women. It wouldn't matter if it was from you. It wouldn't matter who it's from. And I don't care, these massive platforms that have hundreds of thousands of viewers, your tactic is suicide for us. Your tactic of staying away because you're concerned about the promotion of degeneracy in society is exactly what happened in the early Bloodsport debate era. Let me explain this to you so that you understand, and maybe this will help change your worldview. Early conservatism on YouTube all fell on their sword to do the exact same thing you're talking about. Oh, this is against TOS. We're going to violate the TOS on purpose so that they have to deplatform us. That'll teach them a lesson. They all got deplatformed, and all that happened was the degeneracy ran wild with no fucking check at all. Like a firestorm through the internet. The communists got popular. The leftists got popular. You know who didn't get fucking popular? The right-wingers who got thrown the fuck off the platform. They went off to have stellar career-ending careers. Okay? I mean, that's what happened. Their careers ended. And it's because they had the same type of mentality that you have.